I did 3 years at Dundee College, did an NQ in Theatre Arts, HNC, HND in Acting for Performance, but then I had 2 years out as a freelance drama teacher, so I was working for 2 years. So in that time I decided that I really wanted to have a degree behind me, and that's what made me apply to come and do the Acting for Stage and Screen course, which is a 2-year top-up degree, so it meant I didn't have to look at another 4 years somewhere. When we sat down at the start of every module, which is like the unit that you're studying of a particular thing, we would go through what is your module handbook, the layout of what that will involve, and we would go through it, so you've got it in hard copy in front of you, but we would also have a session where we went through that with our lecturer that was teaching that unit, and that was your chance to ask any questions that you needed to about deadlines, or about what specific words meant, or what specifically they meant by something that they'd written. And because it was done as a class, it meant that we were all kind of asking the questions for each other, and it meant we could ask questions of each other as well, which was good. Well, we found out about things like help you could get about sort of building a CV while you're here, and people who maybe wanted a bit more support in their studies if they had maybe dyslexia or things like that. There were people in my course who have that, and when you're studying something like acting, it's really important to get the help with that. I personally didn't use it, but there were people in my class who did. So we had to do what was called an annotated bibliography, which essentially meant reading 10 or more books about, we did our first one for interpreting text, for example. So you would read maybe a variety of books about theatre history, about how you could use text in an acting performance and all that kind of thing. Then you would sort of like write down the details of the author and the name of the book and page numbers that you used, all that kind of thing, as you would in a bibliography anyway. But you'd also write a paragraph about why that book is useful for you in your own words. If you're going to use words that are from the book, you have to quote, so that you're making sure that the person marking it is aware of what's your own work and what's stuff that you're using from the book specifically. Well, for our subject specifically, we get criticism all the time for what we're doing. So if you can't take criticism, it's probably not a good subject to study. There were times where you do get criticism, of course you do, but then that's how you learn. That's how you improve for next time. Probably a lot of things that you weren't aware that you did. So it's good that somebody's bringing it to your attention, or else you'd never know, and you can't fix it if you don't know that it's happening.